You can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say micro to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks climbed to more records on Wall Street. The S&P 500 rose 0.4%, setting an all-time high for the fifth time this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.5%, and the Nasdaq Composite added 0.2% to its own record set the day before. Deckers helped lead the way with a gain of 11.3%. The company behind UGG boots and Hoka shoes reported stronger profit and revenue than analysts had expected. That helped offset a sharp drop for Intel, which sank 8.5% after saying it would cut thousands of jobs as it tries to turn around its fortunes. The Dow up 208 points today to finish at 44,901. The Nasdaq gained 50 to 21,108. The S&P 500 added 25 to 6288. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Well, tonight we'll see the low drop to 77, and then tomorrow we are blazing hot. Look for triple digits the next 5 days. High temperatures hovering right around 100 degrees with a feels-like temperature each day approaching around 110. Stay well hydrated and have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in. It's a full of it Friday here on Sports Talk Media Network. We're full of it. The show is full of it. For that matter, you, the callers and listeners and writers, you're full of it as well. Hope you've had a great day, beautiful day in South Carolina, just like we like it, hotter than two hells. Not hard to go outside and break a sweat whatsoever, Chris Bergen. I hope now that you're back from New Orleans that you got outside and you cut the grass and maybe approached a heat stroke or two out there, huh?
No. My grass is going to stay whatever height it grows to over the next few days because here in the PD it's supposed to be 100 plus all weekend long. So I am not getting outside, especially after having to fly home last night from Charlotte to Myrtle Beach with the air conditioner out. So I understand how Josh is feeling right now with the air conditioner not working in the studio.
Whoa. Air conditioner out in what?
In the plane.
That can't happen.
No, it was a lot of fun. Got on the plane last night, immediately realized it was warmer than normal. And, of course, it's one of the smaller planes, so you're cramped in there like sardines to begin with. And so the co-pilot comes on the radio and says, hey, by the way, sorry about the warmth in the cabin, but we're running one air conditioner. Thanks. And then he thinks, just make sure you have these shades down on the window. That's going to help. Because it was 90 degrees still in Charlotte when we took off last night, as you well know.
You guys,
and by the way, are you wearing? Go ahead.
I was going to say, you couldn't drop a window. You couldn't. Guess you'd get that cool you off in a hurry as you're falling to earth. Wow,
Indeed.
so no air conditioning on the plane, huh?
Very
They just
little.
decided
Very
to
little.
fly you on to Myrtle Beach, huh?
Well, the funny part was we were already about an hour and a half late leaving Charlotte. Excuse me, when we got onto the plane, and part of the problem was they said that one of the crew members had not shown up. So I was thinking at the time, unless it's one of the co-pilots or the guy who makes sure that the landing gear is either up or down, I don't care. It's not as if we needed the flight attendants because they're not serving us anything in an hour trip. So let's go. Evidently, it was the guy who was supposed to turn on the air conditioner.
Wow.
Didn't make it to work yesterday.
Don't you hate it when they tell you that somebody related to the flight crew didn't show up or was late? I mean, kind of tells you where their mind is, and when they show up, what kind of state are they going to be in? Are they actually committed to flying this plane and landing this plane safely? That's when I exit the plane and, I find another. I told you if you'd have just waited. So what time did y'all take off?
We were supposed to leave initially when I booked the flight. I was supposed to leave Charlotte right about 6:30. We ultimately left a little bit after 8 o'clock.
You see, I could have picked you up.
You could have.
And you could have ridden back with me to the coast. I could have dropped you. I went right by Buc-ee's. I could have dropped you off at Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
And you could have partied at Buc-ee's for a little while and gone home. And
The only problem was my car was at the Myrtle Beach International Airport, so I had to get to the airport. So you would have had to taken me all the way to the coast. But heck, I almost got in a situation. Had I left Charlotte immediately, I could have almost walked back to Myrtle Beach and had the same condition because no AC outside, no AC on the plane.
Well,
so it would have been about the same.
When you got off the plane, and we're not naming the airline because I never want to make an airline mad at you,
No, appreciate that.
Were you all sweaty? I mean, were you perspiring?
It was bad. The greatest feeling in the world is when I walked up the jetway into the Myrtle Beach airport and the air conditioner hit me. I actually considered, because keep in mind, I'm carting our radio equipment that we use for coastal broadcasts. I don't stick that under the plane because you use the Comrex unit, so you don't want to mess that up. So I carry that on the plane. Plus, I'm carrying my backpack that has my laptop and this microphone here, which, as you well know, Phil, weighs probably about 20 pounds. So, yeah, as soon as I got into the airport, I was considering I may just sit here for a while and cool off.
Really?
But I got out to the car, and it was raining too.
Well, but you know what? Here's the thing. Here's my view of air travel. I don't care what happens on the plane, air conditioning, no air conditioning, food, no food. If you land and you walk away from it, it's a good flight.
Indeed. But I think this is the issue.
It might have been a little uncomfortable, but you made it.
But here's the issue in Charlotte, and it always concerns me when I fly in and out of there, because when the ground crew is still wearing Piedmont Airlines vests, and if you don't know what Piedmont Airlines is, that's pretty much my point. That airline went out of business 1,000 years ago, and they still haven't upgraded the stuff to either American, since that's a big hub in Charlotte, or whatever. But yeah, they're still wearing Piedmont Airlines vests, and I like Charlotte. But that airport is starting to grow exponentially. And, of course, when I flew in from New Orleans, we landed in Charlotte in Terminal B. And, of course, my flight for Myrtle Beach was in Terminal E.
Of course.
So, of course, you had to walk all the way from Concord to Gastonia to get to where I needed to be. Now, my question earlier, are you wearing a Wilson Tigers baseball cap?
Oh, no. Washington Huskies, man.
Washington Huskies. Okay.
Yeah.
That W looks a lot like Wilson's logo.
Yeah. It's Washington Huskies. Yeah, I'm a Huskies
Phil's
fan now.
supporting the PD tonight.
All about the Huskies after going out there. All right, coming up on the show, and we have the plumber.
Which I'm hoping we're the computers and myself, frankly, I don't have a heat stroke, because it is currently 93 degrees in the studio right now with the air conditioning out.
Did you
hang tight, ladies? Josh may be taking off his shirt before the show's over.
So I currently have a fan. I turned it off because I have my microphone on. But
did you happen to put batteries in the clock up there? Can you read that? Can you see the clock and the temperature?
I still can, and it currently says 93 degrees.
Yeah.
So
I gotta put some.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I'm gonna turn on my fan and turn off my microphone because I'm hot.
That's good.
I am sweating.
Well, you can't pass out. You've got to stay cool. So we got Josh back in the studios. I'm here at the Coastal Studios. Bergie's back at the Bergie Palace. We're in the midst of a very busy time, back-to-back weeks of SEC, ACC football coaches. That would be a total of 32 32 coaches. 32 coaches and about 100-plus players between the two leagues that we heard from over the last 2 weeks. Plus, you were at Sunbelt, so that's another how many coaches?
Well, you've got 14 in the league, and then each team brought 2 players. So, but we only heard from the east side when I was out there, so 7 and then 14, so 21 would have been the case there.
Yeah. So very busy with that. And so heavy with Clemson yesterday and more Clemson today as we hear from more of the Tigers. Also coming up, my one-on-one interview with Rich Clark, the executive director of the college football playoffs. We'll have that for you at the bottom of the hour. We're going to hear from Peter Woods, who looks, does he look fantastic. He's got, obviously, first round, maybe number 1 pick written all over him, and T.J. Parker equally well put together. You'll hear in the interview with Peter Woods how we talked about him getting 700 pounds up in weight training this offseason. A 700-pound wasn't a bench press, it was a squat. I think he squatted 700 pounds. Think about that. He squatted he squatted 2 plumbers basically. That would be about 700. He squatted.
I was going to say the back end of a car. Yeah,
about 4 of me, about 6 of you.
I wish.
So we're gonna hear from him. We're gonna hear from him and also from T.J. Parker. We got Jeff Owens coming up at about 7:20 to talk NASCAR with us again tonight. A lot of things going on with NASCAR to catch up on. Of course, the new race in San Diego. The race, not this weekend, but next weekend at Bristol. I'm sorry, the baseball game at Bristol next weekend. So a video that Bristol put out about what they've done in turning their infield into a baseball diamond. But Jeff has been to Bristol probably 100 times. I want to get his thoughts on what it's going to look like from the stands. The fans. If they sold 160,000 tickets for that thing, I mean, there are going to be some views that they're going to look like gnats to you out there. But anyway, we'll talk with him about that. And George Bryan, of course, on golf, birdies, bogeys, and biceps at the bottom of the hour, the second hour. So the big news today is actually basketball, Bergie. I guess the news that Ashlyn Watkins put out this afternoon, the South Carolina women's basketball player, an erstwhile potential All-American for them when healthy. But she says she's not going to play this season. Of course, she missed almost all of last season with a torn ACL. She also had some legal issues off the court. And now she issued a statement this afternoon that she needs to take another year off to just get herself completely healthy from a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint, spend time with her family, spend time, as she put it, in her faith. And she plans to come back to South Carolina women's basketball the following season. So that's it's got to be a little bit of a well, it's certainly bad news, and doesn't help the USC women's basketball team moving forward for this coming season.
No, you look at last year, and I think they were able to handle things pretty well without her, considering she didn't start the season with them as she was going through the pretrial intervention program to get her record changed after the arrest in August. And then, of course, she joined the team, I think, in early November to start practice, played her first game against NC State, and then 2 months later, she's out for the year with that torn ACL against Mississippi State. And so you wonder how much of that just physical and also the mental grind affected her, and that may be part of the reason. But for the most part, the Gamecocks handled her absence, I think, awfully well, considering they made it all the way to the championship game. I don't think if she's in the mix, they beat UConn either time. I think UConn was just so much better than everybody else last year. I think the only game that they lost that she might have made a difference in would have been the game in Austin against Texas. I think she probably, with her size and athleticism, would have given Texas fits inside. But otherwise, I thought they handled it well. Now, the problem is going into this season, I'm sure Dawn Staley was planning on having her as a integral part of the team this year because you've got a rising senior who should be a double-double machine, not to mention her ability to be a rim protector. This is going to be a big loss for them, I think, for this upcoming season. Yep.
So something Dawn Staley and her staff will have to deal with. I'm sure that they were in all-season planning for this year, had her written in, and They were planning much of the offense to – why wouldn't you plan much of the offense to run through her? I mean, they lost, I think, their best overall player, their best overall athlete, their best overall go-and-getter in Malaysia Fulwiley.
Right.
But the next one on the team who was equally athletic or perhaps even more athletic was Ashlyn Watkins, especially at her size and her ability to defend, block shots, and rebound. So that's a big blow. I don't think there's any way to – even though they didn't have them last year and they made it to the championship game, you plan on having her back this year and now you don't. So that's definitely a big blow to the USC women's basketball team. Let's see. Hunter Helms is returning to Clemson football. Now, this is not any kind of earth-shattering news. He's a former backup quarterback. David Hood, Tiger Net, had this story this afternoon. Helms was already back at Clemson after playing at Rhode Island last season. He came back this summer as a coach, and now he is going to go back on scholarship and on the roster for a super senior season as an emergency quarterback. It's the same role that Paul Tyson – I'm sorry?
I said, is he going to Zeb Nolan it for us?
Well,
actually play?
There's enough – I think there's enough quarterbacks ahead of him where Clemson's okay. He's going to have the same role that Paul Tyson had for the Tigers last season. Basically, he's just going to be eyes on the sideline. I mean, you've got, of course, Klubnik, and you've got let's see, one. You got one true backup, and then you've got a high school signee in as a backup. So they've got three quarterbacks already in the room there. But when he was at Clemson, he did emerge as the backup quarterback, and he did get some playing time, usually in a mop-up role. He was basically Uyangalele's backup quarterback during his time there. So, and he also came in at the very end of Trevor Lawrence, I believe. He goes back to the end of Trevor Lawrence and the transition to Uyangalele. So that is going to be another one another pair of eyes, another guy with a lot of experience. He can certainly work with the quarterbacks and use his experience to help in development and in pointing out some things to the quarterbacks, I would think.
I would think so, yeah. And you can't have enough experience in that room. And they continue to say, every time we hear from Dabo Sweeney about Christopher Vizina, they are extremely pleased with him and his progress, and they're all ready to go in case he is needed. God forbid something were to happen to Kate Klubnik. I just don't know that I buy that, but we'll see. I doubt Hunter Helms would move that far up the chain if they had to go that route. But I do find it interesting. Now, Phil, you have to kind of monitor your rosters as well, because I think 105 is probably more than enough anyway. But now that they put him on scholarship, that takes away, I guess, a spot for somebody else. I don't know that they would ever fill it up, and I can't imagine a team as talented as Clemson needs to get down to 105 on the roster.
Yeah, you can have a total of 105, and under the new rules, I mean, they're all scholarship guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, correct.
They all have to be scholarship guys. Now they do have, don't forget, Trent Pierman in there as well. So you've got Klubnik, you've got Vizina, you got Pierman, you got the freshman Chris Denson, and now you've got Hunter Helms. So that's 5 quarterbacks in the room there. So that's kind of what you want to have in your typical quarterback room. And let's see what else I wanted to mention here. You weren't with us last night, so you weren't here to talk about the news that kind of was regurgitated that North Carolina is looking at the potential of moving to the SEC. This is once again a story that has come up, especially with the settlement with the ACC and Clemson and Florida State, and the reduction in what it costs to leave the ACC as the years move on. And indication, according to this story by Inside Carolina, was that this could be something that could happen sooner than later, in the near future is how they put it. Now, if you wait until like 2030, the cost is going to be much less than would it be if you were to leave after like 25 or 26. But it also said that it tied Clemson in with North Carolina in this story, and also indicated that maybe multiple ACC schools might be looking to bolt in the near future. So here we go again with this kind of stuff.
I wonder if the SEC and the Big Ten are going to continue to just piecemeal together conference expansion until we get to where I believe we're ultimately going to get to. And that's two huge conferences, one that takes up the entire northern part of the United States and the other one that takes up the southern part of the United States. Are we going to get to, let's say, we're at 16 now in the SEC? Will we go to 18? Then will we go to 20? Then will we go to 22? And, 30 years down the road, do they just blow up and expand to 40? I just don't know. But, Phil, it seems like to me, the way college is going, especially at the major Power 4 level, let's just blow this thing all the way up. I don't know that you need conferences. Let's just have regional situations and let all four of those leagues split everything evenly. We're starting to see the American trying to get a piece of the pie, talking about let's have, equal distribution of the money across the board in FBS football. I think that's a really nice idea. It's not going to happen, but it's a really nice idea. But I just think the Power 4 just needs to move away and do their own thing, and I don't know that conference boundaries are all that necessary anymore for football. I understand it for the other sports, but for football, I think we're getting to a point where they're not going to be necessary.
Yeah, that was a nice suggestion by the American, but nobody's going to listen to that. You think the SEC is going to provide the funding for the lower league like that doesn't have the television revenue, doesn't have the eyeballs that league creates? That's not how they were built. That's not how Greg Sankey's built. And the same thing with the Big Ten. They're all about taking care of their own first and really don't care about the outside world. And you're right, SEC, Big Ten, they might want to just go off into their own universe and do their own thing, which might be eventually what happens here.
How much talk was, because this story broke, yesterday, so ironic that it came out the same day that Bill Belichick and North Carolina were there. I'm sure there was some reasoning behind that. How much legitimacy do you put on this?
I mean, it's from a website that has a huge following, a great reputation as far as covering the inside of the University of North Carolina. It's called Inside Carolina. I mean, how much more blunt can you be about what you do? They do have a good reputation, I think. They're an On3 network affiliate, and they're known for reporting inside scoop on the University of North Carolina activities. Of course, they cited their various sources within the athletic program. So, I don't know. I mean, believe what you want to believe, but that's what they have. That's what they have put out there. There has been I've seen nothing written from the Clemson side of things by any of their people today about any more talk of Clemson bolting for the SEC or anywhere else. Of course, the SEC's got to want to take you before you can make the move. And last time Greg Sankey was asked about it and talked about it, said right now they're pretty set with the 16 that they've got at this particular time. Okay, our phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. You can also send us a text message, comment, or question. That number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. Interview with Rich Clark coming up after the bottom of the hour break. Think you'll enjoy it. He's quite a guy. Every so often, Bergie, you meet somebody, you talk to somebody, you have a conversation with somebody, and you just know that guy or gal is better than I am. And that's the case with Rich Clark. I'll explain later.
Looking to make life simple and save money? Transfer your credit card balance to a Founders credit card and take advantage of our balance transfer rates as low as 2.99% APR. Plus, you'll pay no balance transfer fees. Now through September 30th. Save more and stress less with this limited time offer. Promotional rate expires 6 months from the date of the transaction. Then effective APR of 13.25% to 17.90% will apply. For more details, visit foundersfcu.com/cc. Membership qualification required.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Oh, Phil, you're supposed to stay neutral, but your stripes show it's indisputable. Tiger Phil can't sit still, orange and purple running through his will. Calls it fair, but we know the drill. Tiger Phil. Oh, Tiger Phil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Phil.
Let it roll.
He says he's balanced, calls it down the line, but his heart's in Death Valley every single time. Gamecocks cry foul, they know the deal. Behind that mic, it's all about the Tiger feel.
Go Tigers!
He'll cheer for the underdog, but not for long. If the Tigers roar, he's singing their song. Neutral, he claims, but the truth won't chill. He's the king of bias, our Tiger Phil. Tiger Phil can't sit still. Orange and purple running through his will.
That's great. The Sports Talk Orchestra, once again.
Overtime.
Another Grammy Award-winning performance. It's fantastic. These guys get on my nerves. NIL agents, you talk about bragging. These blood-sucking agents, Darren Wilson, Chase Moss, Sean Brown, Daniel Fondong, so proud of themselves. They put out a statement that they've surpassed $18.5 million in negotiated transfer portal transactions this offseason, per release. His clients include Southern Cal running back Wayman Jordan, Cincinnati offensive lineman Joe Cotton, Michigan offensive lineman Brady Norton, and Texas A&M wide receiver Mario Craver, among more than 200-plus athletes across multiple sports. Well, let us see the numbers then.
Indeed, because otherwise it's just an absolute lie. I mean, we can say that too, Phil. Hey.
Yeah,
we're helping out athletes all across the state of South Carolina.
Let us see your numbers. Back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Well, tonight we'll see the low drop to 77, and then tomorrow we are blazing hot. Look for triple digits the next 5 days. High temperatures hovering right around 100 degrees with a feels-like temperature each day approaching around 110. Stay well hydrated and have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. U.S. troops are sharing command stations and vehicles with civilian immigration authorities at the southern U.S. border under an emergency declaration from President Trump. A two-star general leads 7,600 border troops and an assortment of helicopters and drones. He says the military has been freed from maintenance work to help apprehend immigrants, protect newly designated militarized zones, and disrupt smuggling cartels. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government is considering alternative options to ceasefire talks with Hamas. This follows Israel and the U.S. recalling their negotiating teams. On Wall Street, the Dow by 208 points, the Nasdaq rose 50. More details at srnnews.com.
I bet you've heard us say this. You can't pick your power company. So how can you control your power bill? By partnering with Ken and his local team at Broker Solar. Ken, our power is not getting any cheaper.
So every year there's typically a rate increase that happens, and the utilities claim that they want to keep up with their operating costs. Now, Broker Solar allows you to take control of that cost, own your power, create it, store it, and then use it when you need it. There's special solar financing that would take advantage of the tax credits. You can have several options on how long you'd like to pay off your solar system and how quick the return could be.
No two homes are the same, so you work with homeowners, business owners to fit their needs based on how many solar panels they need and even where they want the panels to go. Most folks prefer it on the roof, but some don't.
We frequently get asked about solar on the ground or even on a separate solar structure like a carport or a lean-to that comes off the house.
Call Broker Solar. Call them now, 803-807-7417 or online, brokersolar.com.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Lawkins. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Hey! Friday. Enjoy the weekend. But before you enjoy the weekend, you got 90 more minutes of a full of it Friday here on Sports Talk. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and the plumber, Josh Cohen. We're going to hear from Rich Clark in just a moment. Want to remind you that the beach of South Carolina, it's warm. There's an occasional storm, but otherwise it's a wonderful place to visit for the weekend or for a week or longer. And you need help in finding quality residence. If you're not going to do the hotel scene, you want to stay in a really nice, well-furbished, air-conditioned condominium. That's right, plumber, working air conditioning. That's what Jimmy Smith does. He makes sure all his properties have working air conditioning. Especially on a very hot day like it is in Columbia today, plumber. Has to be 100 plus, right? So you want to find a great house, a great condo to stay in at the beach, just give Jimmy Smith a call at James Smith Real Estate, 843-237-4246, and online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. It's all there for your absolutely perfect beach getaway. Okay, before we get to Rich Clark, jump to the phones and go up to Greenville. It's Kevin in Greenville joining us tonight here on Sports Talk. Welcome in, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes.
I heard your comment about North Carolina. I did read about it today. They'd be a fantastic addition to number one marketed brand in all of college athletics. Their ties to Michael Jordan are very famous, and, it would do nothing but expand the horizon in the state of North Carolina. And, with that being said, that's a big difference between Clemson and South Carolina. I know they're a better program, top to bottom, but, every week we seem to play a team named after a state, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee. They play teams named after people and cities. Wake Forest, Duke, Boston College, Syracuse. There's a difference in that. The athletic department at South Carolina generated about $126 million last year in revenue. They cleared about $1.5 million in profit. Clemson generated $125 million. They generated $1 million in profit. So both these athletic departments make money. The difference is Clemson's football team made $65+ million. That's how much their athletic department put back in the football program. The Gamecocks generated some $80 to $90 million, and they only put around $50 to $55 million back in football. They support a lot of non-revenue sports. Until our athletic department and our board of regents gets on board and pumps the money that team generates back into that program, we're always going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Damn, you're smart. And I don't say that very often. I mean, that is some awesome stuff. That is some awesome stuff. Your comment about North Carolina, yeah, I agree. I mean, that would be a huge addition. It would be a killing blow to the ACC. It'd be a huge addition to the SEC. I know SEC people would turn their nose down at it, but my gosh, yeah, North Carolina's got they're huge. Their brand is huge. Yeah, you're bringing the Michael Jordan people into the league, and they have a thing there at North Carolina that they can't build their stadium higher than the pine trees that surround it. The Keenan people who gave them the money, that was one thing, that they couldn't take that thing way on up. They only seat about, 50,000 or so for football. But I guess you can get by with that. They're, stadiums around the SEC, they're not all mega stadiums, 80,000 plus. Vandy's not. Ole Miss is just about 60,000. Mississippi State's not. That's about the same. So you can get by with that. But generally speaking, yeah, adding North Carolina, if that were to happen, they would fit right in. They would fit right in quickly.
Another good addition would be the Virginia Cavaliers. I know their football team has not been fantastic the last, 6 or 7 years, but they have a premium basketball program, premium baseball program, and Charlottesville is an amazing city. And that would give you the D.C. metro, Virginia, Maryland area for recruiting. That would basically give you that whole state. There's nobody in that state. And, the Gamecocks play Virginia Tech the first game of the year. But Blacksburg, Virginia is nothing compared to Charlottesville, Virginia. It's a beautiful city, and I think that would be the next step, is to take Virginia with North Carolina. They'll build the program. The SEC will pump millions and millions of dollars into their program, and that's a fantastic brand to have on your side as well. And
I'm just not sure.
Hey, I got a joke for you. I got to tell you.
Let me just say this real quick. Let me just respond to one thing. From what I was told by some people at the kickoff in Charlotte, I mean, there might be a law there. The North Carolina legislature might not allow North Carolina to leave the ACC without NC State going with it. That might have to be a package deal. So keep that in mind when you talk about team movement. Now your joke.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I love Dave Doran. He's been a thorn in Clemson's side for decades now. It seems like. Good kudos to him, and I hope he gets them again this year. Now for my joke. What do you call the smartest person on the campus at Clemson University?
I give up. What you got?
A visitor.
No. Got to save that for late November. A visitor. Hey, thank you very much. That was great stuff. That was really.
Thank you. I love you guys' show.
Thank you very much, Bergie. That was some real interesting numbers he rolled out there on South Carolina and Clemson.
Absolutely. He's done his research and had a good – that's the nice part. He had an interesting opinion and an argument, but he also had the facts to back up what he was saying. And I thought it was well stated and interesting. And it's something I think we all know. And Clemson's made that very clear, that there's one program up there that they want to be successful more than any other. And we're going to see it with rev sharing now. And it may come at the detriment of all their other programs. But I think Clemson's motto is if football's good – a rising tide may raise all boats, but I think this one they're hoping it would trickle down. If football's good, it'll help all the other programs because funding's definitely not going to go to the other programs. It does not appear.
You saw what Brad Brownell said earlier this week, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's already a fact that the women's basketball is not getting any of the rev share, zero from what we understand. So, obviously, after football and men's basketball, there's very little left to be cut up. I guess baseball got some, but otherwise there's not a whole lot left on the Clemson rock, so to speak, that rock of money to cut up and share with the other sports. Let's go to Hank in Columbia, next up here on a Friday edition of Sports Talk. Hello, Hank. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Corn. And with all that money disparity, 2 of the last 3 years, South Carolina's beating Clemson. What? Go figure.
Go figure. Go figure.
And put a number in the pros in the last couple of years too. But Corn, I did want to share something. I did listen to your little small blurb about Ashland sitting out. Mm-hmm. And you were mostly correct. She's a big portion of the team. She's an outstanding athlete. She's the best athlete on the team. For a while, she's probably the second best athlete on the team, though Edwards was probably the most impactful player. Remember, Edwards was first team All SEC. He's won 2 gold medals this summer already. But I think the thing about Dawn not preparing for that, I think that I'm pretty sure that was incorrect. Dawn has given some interviews, and Ashland got hurt against Mississippi State, which was in conference play, in the middle of January. Everybody kept on going back into December for some reason. She got hurt a little bit towards the middle of January. Because it was in the Mississippi State game, which was like our third or fourth conference game, and when she got hurt, she was past the red shirt mark for that year. So there had been talk about
January 5th.
Yes. So but she had gone past you could only go 12 games, I think, and take a red shirt or something, and she had passed that, and so there had been talk about her. Possibly sitting out this year because for girls it takes a longer time for them to get back from ACL. They sometimes average it around 14, 15 months, and there was some talk about her coming back, it being her senior year, and she's just getting back into game shape to show what she could do for the WNBA. So so I think Dawn and those had kind of talked about this and a plan for this because they had pretty much a glut at the power forward position, which is Ashley's natural position. When they brought in the big 6'7" girl from Mississippi State, and they had the 6'5" girl that was there last year that they feel is going to be really good for them. You had Ashlyn, Chloe, Joyce, and an incoming 6'3" player out of Texas. And Dowded, the 6'5" player from Arkansas. So they had a glut at that power forward position. So Don always tries to do what's best for the athlete, and I think the goal is that Ashlyn will come back fully healthy, play that senior year, and she'll be a high draft pick because of her athleticism. So even if she came back this year, there was thought that she wouldn't have been ready until around February or late January, which was it might have been something that you could add to the team, but it wasn't going to do her any good. So I think Dawn had been planning. Dawn had been planning for this for a little bit. I don't think this is something that caught her out by the blue from sources I've talked to.
Okay. Well, you got better sources than we do. Some of the comments I saw from her when she was asked about it here in the offseason, she talked about Watkins making good progress. She did not hint to anybody publicly that she did not think Watkins was not going to play this season. This is the first that anybody's really heard of this publicly.
Yeah, but Dawn is not. She's not going to do that now. She's always going to. She always keeps the players' business private until they're ready to produce it. That's why she has such a great relationship with her players. But those conversations were there. Her coming back in ACL. When you have 3 or 4 power forwards in front of you also. So that's just
Thank you.
Just that little information. So.
Good stuff. Man, we got great callers tonight. Thank you, Hank. Appreciate you providing that to us and shedding some light.
Well, if his point about Ashlyn Watkins taking a little bit longer than a typical, let's take a Clemson football player. They seem to tear their ACL, first game of the season. They're back before their rivalry game. It's just amazing. And not disputing what Hank said, but it brings up an interesting question. If it's going to take Ashlyn Watkins 12 to 15 months to rehab and be fully healthy to go, what does that mean for Juju Watkins out at Southern California, who tore her ACL, during the tournament this year? I mean, do you think they're planning to go an entire season without their best player? And there's no question out there. She is their best player.
Good question. Quickly to Bobby and Casey. Squeeze in another call here before the break. Bobby, welcome to Sports Talk. How are you? Hello, Bobby. I don't hear Bobby. Did the line evaporate because of the heat?
I don't know.
It may have.
We might have. Yeah, it might have just gotten.
You're sounding kind of. Are you okay? You're sounding kind of woozy.
I don't know. I'm hot. I had to turn off my fan just to talk, so I got to turn it back on.
All right, let's go to the break since Bobby's not there. We'll run to the break and come back with more here on Sports Talk. If anybody is driving down Millwood Avenue and you have a block of ice, if you're an ice seller, deliverer, you got a big old block of ice, drop it off at the Point Radio at Millwood Avenue, and the plumber can sit on it for the next hour. Meantime, I'm going to put a sweater on. I'm so cold here in my place. We'll be back in a moment.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot, and the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
All right, ACC kickoff this week in Charlotte, wrapped up yesterday. One of the Clemson folks we had a chance to sit down and talk with, very large, very talented, very skilled defensive tackle, Peter Woods. Here's our conversation. Joined now by Peter Woods, Clemson defensive tackle. How do you like hearing that? Defensive tackle, not defensive end. Defensive tackle, back inside where you belong?
It feels a little different, having a little run around, but I think that's what I pride myself in, being able to do both. And so, I like to just call myself a defensive lineman, just in case something happens that I got to shake back out, you know what I'm saying? You never know.
The experience moving outside last year, though, for you, what was that like? What did you learn about playing on the edge?
I'd say it was normal for me. It's something that I've kind of been doing my whole life, just kind of knowing that I have that versatility and as long as I'm able to understand the game from those two perspectives, I feel like I'll always be able to play them. To me, it's just football. It's what I've been good at for a long time, and that's just kind of what I do.
The skills to play outside, inside, vice versa, kind of interchangeable?
I would say so. You put your hands in another man's chest and you dominate them. And that's just kind of the basis of both positions. And if you're able to do that, you're gonna win more than you lose.
How have you changed physically since last year?
Since last year, I'm sure you can obviously tell I've dropped a lot of weight. I'm definitely down almost 30 pounds from the end of last season. So it's just been great just being able to feel that back in that state of where like I'm ready to dominate and be the best actual version of myself.
Are you physically stronger? Are you lifting more weights, doing more power stuff in the weight room?
If I'm being honest, I don't know how much stronger I can get before I'm like a power lifter or doing something different besides football. And so, but no, in all seriousness, I think that I've definitely found ways to get better this offseason.
What is your best lift in the weight room?
I think the easy thing would be to say squat. I think all my numbers are pretty high. But I have put 700 on my back and went down and up with it one time. So
what'd that feel like?
It was like white screen, white noise until I wrecked it. And then it was like, yeah, I did that. So it was fun.
How many guys were around you when you did that?
I think the whole team. Well, the whole team or everybody that was lifting at that time was out there. And it was great. It was amazing. It was an exhilarating feeling. The most I've ever put on my back. I think I did probably could have did more if I'm being honest. I think I did 675 in high school. Yeah, and so getting that 7 bills was definitely kind of like a goal of mine.
But they wouldn't let you do that if they didn't think you could do it.
Yeah, I'll probably never do it again, to be honest. It probably wasn't the best decision at that time, but it was great that it worked out, and I definitely I'm proud of myself for being able to do that.
Did you feel it a day or two later?
Not even. I definitely, after I came up, I was like, yeah, I definitely used every muscle in my body for that one. Like you can kind of feel it, but
yeah.
Besides that, it wasn't much.
What have you set for yourself individually, goal-wise, for this season?
I won a national championship. That was kind of my goal coming in. Believing in Coach Sweeney's vision, and I told him whenever I first committed here, it was like, yeah, we're gonna win a natty. Like we're gonna win a national championship, and we're gonna restore Clemson to what they were before we got here. And so that is my goal for this year.
So you guys made the playoffs last year, which gave you a chance, but obviously you didn't advance. So what makes you think this team can do the same thing but even take another couple of steps?
Yeah, you just got to be confident in the work that you put in. Like you do the work, you're gonna know whether you're gonna fall or you're gonna land. And I have a lot of confidence in this team, and that's one thing that you come off a year where you don't really know if you can do it or not because you didn't really have a great year the year before. But it's like we see in the top of the mountain. We know what it looks like, and now we're just ready to go execute it and do the work.
I know football, it's a 22-man game, and actually throw in the special teams as well because you guys should have excellent special teams. But people have said, I guess, last year or two, defense kind of carried the offense. Offense was kind of evolving. Looks to me like the offense can really carry everybody this year. The defense is going to be really good. How do you feel about the offense? Do you feel like from a defensive standpoint, you don't have to quite carry the load because you have an offense that's going to be explosive?
Of course, but I think that could set us up for dominating some people. You have a great defense, you have a great offense. I mean, that's a great football team. I mean, and most of your defensive offensive players are on special teams. And so I'm just super excited about that. They've been putting in the work. I've seen them just countless extra hours, just making sure everything's right. The chemistry he has with the receivers and the offensive line we have coming back. We got running back by committee. I mean, you name who you want and they'll be out there. So I'm super excited just about the different things they can do. Another year with G-Money and Cade and Coach Sweeney. It's going to be great, man. I'm super excited. And, I mean, I go against those guys every day, and they ain't no slouches by any means. So I would hate it for any defense who got to go against them.
How about your defensive front? The addition of Will Held, the emergence of T.J. Parker. Sounds like the defensive ends could be special. And then inside, what do you think about you guys inside?
Definitely, DeMonte Capehart is a name to mention. He did a great job this offseason, changing his body and getting ready to just play great scheme football. Stephon Green is another guy on the inside. You got Vic Burley and Champ Thompson and a young guy like Amari Adams who was ready to play probably a year ago. Like, we probably could have brought him out to 11th grade and let him play for us. So, just super country strong kid, very knowledgeable of the game. So just got a guy like me excited just knowing that I got a lot of guys around me who I know are going to get the job done.
So you feel good about the depth behind you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Will that mean, and would you like this, fewer snaps for you, a little bit more rest, but a more regular rotation where you can stay fresh? You and Capehart and the front liners can stay fresh?
I'm hoping so. You never know. I mean, a guy like me, I definitely, you probably have to pull me out. I mean, I don't really want to, dictate whether I get off the field or not. If it's up to me, I'm just be gassed out there, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to come off the field, but I definitely think the smart thing to do, with rotation and just keeping guys fresh. I think that we have the ability to wear you down, roll them in, wear you down, roll them in, roll us back in, roll you down. So I think that's something that we'll be able to get to.
Okay, Peter Woods, our conversation with him yesterday. How about he's got a very strong feeling for that defense, Bergie, like they're going to be a dominant style defense again.
I think he's probably right, especially up front. Those guys are going to be tough to move, especially if you've got a guy like Peter Woods that can squat 700 pounds. Good grief.
That's a hoss. Be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Billions of dollars in frozen education grant funding are being released.
The Trump administration withheld over $6 billion in funding on July 1st as part of a review to ensure spending aligned with the White House's priorities. Last week, the Education Department said it would release $1.3 billion of the money for after-school programs after 10 Republican senators sent a letter imploring the administration to allow frozen education money to be released. The department now says that the Office of Management and Budget had completed its review of the programs in question and will begin sending the rest of the money to states next week. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Southern California Edison is setting up a compensation program for victims of January's LA wildfires. Correspondent Ben Thomas reports.
The blaze killed 19 people and destroyed more than 9,400 homes and other structures in Altadena. Investigators have not yet determined a cause, but the program's creation seems to suggest the utility is prepared to acknowledge that its equipment sparked the wildfire. Several lawsuits have claimed the utility is at fault. LA County filed suit in March. It previously won more than $64 million in a settlement with Southern California Edison over the 2018 Woolsey fire. I'm Ben Thomas.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government is considering alternative options to cease fire talks with Hamas. This follows Israel and the U.S. recalling their negotiating teams, adding uncertainty to the negotiations. On Thursday, the teams left Qatar after a U.S. envoy said Hamas showed a lack of desire to reach a truce. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 208 points, the Nasdaq rose 50, the S&P advanced 25. More at townhall.com.
This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's something about the feel of a gold coin in your hand and the way the light reflects off its intricate details that has always captivated me. Nick Grovich, AmFed's owner, turned that same passion into his livelihood. Nick began collecting coins as a teen, and that interest grew into a nationally respected business offering only the finest quality coins at the most competitive prices. But the truth is that although Nick is a rare coin dealer, he doesn't believe in rare coins. Rare coins do not make sound investments, but they do make dealers a lot of money. See, that's part of what I respect about him. AmFed specializes in buying non-performing numismatic coins and turning them into gold or silver investments that provide liquidity and perform competitively against the market. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture will move thousands of employees out of the nation's capital in a reorganization the agency says will put them closer to customers while saving money.
The Trump administration is shutting down some Washington, D.C. area offices of the U.S. Department of Agriculture with a plan to scatter half the positions, about 2,600 workers, to field hubs in Raleigh, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Fort Collins, and Salt Lake City. The union representing federal workers criticized the move as a ploy to cut jobs. Many workers with ties to the D.C., Maryland, Northern Virginia area will retire or are unlikely to relocate.
Correspondent Jennifer King says Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins made the announcement yesterday. The move is part of President Trump's efforts to make the federal government slimmer and more efficient, which received a Supreme Court boost this month. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Well, tonight we'll see the low drop to 77, and then tomorrow we are blazing hot. Look for triple digits the next 5 days. High temperatures hovering right around 100 degrees with a feels-like temperature each day approaching around 110. Stay well hydrated and have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network. Got to get right into things here as we want to squeeze in everything we've got planned, including recruiting, which we'll get to in just a moment. I should have mentioned earlier that Clemson got a commitment earlier today. First thing really this morning, not really first thing this morning, but earlier today, from a legacy player. His dad played at Clemson, Christian Chancellor Jr., P.J. Chancellor, defensive back from Daniel High School, 2027 class. He has committed to Clemson. More on him coming up in the recruiting report in just a little bit. But I wanted to get to this interview with Rich Clark, who is the executive director of the College Football Playoff. What a tremendous individual he is. You'll hear more about him in the interview, but he is a retired 3-star lieutenant general in the Air Force. And he's done some big things in his life from the standpoint of his involvement with the Air Force. Enough on that, however, our conversation primarily on his role as the executive director of the College Football Playoff. Here we go. First of all, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Great talking to you. Admire your background. For those who don't know, retired 3-star lieutenant general in the Air Force. We have some common ties from the state of South Carolina with you because you played football at Air Force, so You were there with Ken Hatfield, Fisher DeBerry, so you've got some ties to our state.
2 heroes, both of them. Ken Hatfield brought me in. I still talk to him. He's an amazing man, phenomenal coach. Coach DeBerry was my coach my junior and senior year, and I just talked to him last week. You know, I mean, these are men that helped me to develop and grow up to be, honestly, the person that I am, and I owe them a lot.
Yeah, great people. Coach Hatfield stepped into a difficult time at Clemson following Danny Ford.
Right.
And Coach DeBerry he's still great at everything he does. We admire him tremendously here in our state. So you have stepped into, I don't know, is it a thankless job trying to run the college football playoff? Because, like, people are pulling their hair out over all these various formats and just wishing that you guys could come together and figure out what this thing's going to look like in the future.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, consternation out there. But here's the thing. First of all, we have the format for this year, and it is a great format. Last year was spectacular. I felt like it went really well. It was my first year, but our team did a great job putting that format on, and the commissioners did a great job forming that format, if you will. And so I feel like we have a very strong format. We made a tweak to it for this coming year where we're not going to give a bye to the top 4 conference champions. The top 5 champions will still get into the playoff, but now the seeding will be in accordance with the ranking by the selection committee. So what's at question now is what's it going to look like for 26 and beyond? And the commissioners are thinking it through. They're being very deliberate about this. I know everybody wants a decision real fast, but this is a big decision, and the different conferences have some different ideas about what it should look like, not just the commissioners, but the members in the conference. And the commissioners, they have an obligation to their conference. They were hired by them, they were paid by them, they have to represent them at the table. In the end, we're going to have a great format. And one of their decisions might be not to change it. It could be that we stick with the 12-team format. That is also good. So what I think is we're going from good to great, good to better, and that's what we're trying to do. So I don't think, the idea that people go, why can't we get to a decision? Well, let's give them some time and space. I am involved in this, and I am going to help to facilitate it and give my recommendations on it. But in the end, we're going to come up with a really great solution to this, and it's going to be even better than it was last year. This year is going to be better than last year. I guarantee it. And we're just going to continue to get better on this.
I think people may be drawing a little tired of all the back and forth in the media, various press conferences where one commissioner says this about another league and vice versa. Maybe these guys just all need to get behind closed doors and sort this thing out and then come out with a smile on their face and say, here's our plan.
Yeah, that would be the perfect world.
It's not that easy.
So you know what, though? Yeah. Here's what I kind of liken it to. It's kind of like Congress, right? Every congressional member has a district that they represent or a state that they represent. And they have to go to the table and make decisions that support and, the folks that voted them into office. But in the end, they have to come out with decisions that are good for the whole country. And it doesn't always stay behind closed doors. It gets out, and people know that they're talking about certain things. That's what's going on here. They are representing their conferences. They're having tough discussions. But in the end, people know that the discussions are happening. So the pressure's on them, I would say, probably unduly, because they still have time. They don't have to have a decision really until December 1st. So they still have some time to make the decision. So, but also – I love the fact that people are really talking about it. People are interested and engaged in it. People love college football, and they're concerned about it. So, it's a little bit messy, but, the process is. And football is it's a human endeavor. And so we'll get there, and we're going to get a good answer. And these guys are collegial. I mean, they listen to each other. They talk to each other. They support each other. Right now, they just have a difference of opinion on some of this.
So you really liked the first year of the playoff and how it went. What did you like most about it? And why did you and the committee feel the need to do the little bit of tweaking? I know there was a lot of belly aching about the fact that, the pairings were like they were. So why did you, after this first year, take a look at that and decide, hey, we got to switch a little bit of this up?
Yeah, so the first thing that I really loved about the first year was the campus games. Oh, they were spectacular. I went to Notre Dame and I went to Ohio State. And, man, I have been going to college football games for 50 years. Those were like nothing I've seen. It was energized, the student body. I mean, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. And the reports from the other two games was the same. It was just amazing. Now, a lot of people wanted to see more of that. I think you can sometimes get too much of a good thing. And having the quarterfinals at our bowl games is the right answer, I believe. Because first, January 1st and, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, there's not a lot of people on campus. A lot of the students are gone. A lot of faculty, staff, and folks that would execute the game are gone. It's cold, a lot colder. It was cold in those first-round games, and it's even colder at that time. So I think there comes a time in a playoff where you need to have a neutral site. You now have your best, teams in the game, in the playoff, and let them play for this next round based on how they play the game, not based on do they have a home field advantage, not based on the weather, not based on anything except what those teams bring to the field. And that's what I think our bowl partners offer. They give us a stadium that's covered or a stadium that's in good weather. It's a neutral site. The teams can go there and they can fight it out on the field, and I love that aspect of it too. Plus, our bowl partners do a great job with the pageantry of the bowl games. I mean, if you've ever been to a Rose Bowl, it's just spectacular. I went to it for the first time, and now I know why they call it the Granddaddy of them all, but they're all amazing. Every one of our bowl games in their own right are just amazing games. So I just love the way the format went. Now, as far as your question about why did we make that tweak on the seeding, people let us know immediately when we reseeded, because the top 4 conference champions got a bye over the first round. People let us know that sort of turned the games into something that the first round games into something maybe they weren't intended to be. We feel like people should get if they're going to get a bye, if a team's going to get a bye, they should have earned it over the course of the regular season. And so now the top 4 teams, period, as ranked, will get a bye.
Sure.
And then that pits teams that are more evenly yoked in the first round, maybe better competition, and let the teams advance in I think, a more traditional way that we've seen in playoffs in the past. So I think the change happened really quickly because the commissioners recognized this was something we needed to do now. So they can make a decision when they need to.
Yeah.
And they did. And I think this is going to be a great change to the 12-team format and make it even better.
Yeah, they're hard-headed.
You said that, not me.
I know. Do you have in your mind, like, the perfect number? Is 12, 16, 24? And I mean, can we just get to a point, whatever it happens to be, I think this is what people would like. Get to something and stay with it.
Yeah.
Here we're talking about expanding the basketball tournament field again. Well, maybe a few more won't hurt. But, I mean, if you get to 16 or even, say, to 24, then in 2 or 3 years they'll be clamoring to go to 32.
Right.
Is there an end point? I mean, do you see where I'm going here, that you need some sort of hard final format that's going to stick for maybe a decade or longer?
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I think that the range that we're looking at is 12 to 16.
Okay.
Because once you get beyond, there's a couple things. First, student health, right? Student safety and health. You start to expand the season and add games to the season, you may be putting students at risk because too many games, it could be problematic from a safety standpoint and their health. The other thing is you have campus schedules that you have to deal with, and you start playing games over commencement or during finals, other things that might be disruptive to the campus and the education of our student athletes. That becomes a problem. Then you have TV windows. There's only a certain number of TV windows out there. We're already playing head-to-head on TV against the NFL. That's not good. The NFL is, the NFL, right? And so if you start adding too many games, now you start to diminish the opportunity for fans to really enjoy them. So I think we see what's really good is 12, and we just need to see, is there a tweak, 14 or 16, which I think is the limit. 16 is the most we can go to and still be able to televise and play those games in a good space and still not extend the season too long. So now that's kind of the range that I think we're in. And I don't see the commissioners going much longer than that.
So I believe there should be a single head over all of college athletics, and I nominate you.
Oh, hey, I like what I'm doing right now. This is good.
I think that you would bring leadership and no nonsense and a great mind to the job. What did you fly in the Air Force?
I flew the B-1 bomber.
Oh.
It was awesome. I loved it. That's what I did for most of my career, and it was just phenomenal. I loved doing it.
Any secret missions you can tell us about?
Well, if I told you, I'd have to,
kill you. Well, did you actually bomb anything?
Yes. And not that, you never want to have to go to combat and do that, but, I flew multiple combat missions, in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we salute you for that.
I was honored to serve. No, honored to serve and honored to do it.
Yeah.
I will tell you that I feel very fortunate and blessed to be in this position right now, though. I couldn't imagine a better job to have. The commissioners are great. My team at the CFP is great. And this whole enterprise of college football is just fantastic, and I love being a part of it.
I don't want to hear anybody backtalk you when it comes to whatever comes out. Whatever you say goes.
Well, don't listen too hard because people are back-talking me all the time.
They don't
know. All right.
They don't know you like we know you now. So
no, I appreciate that.
If they were to know you, they'd love you. So
thank you, sir.
What do you think of that, Bergie?
That's the guy. I'm glad you asked him that question because, first off, he's sharp. He's unbiased. He's a war hero. And how can you not want to get behind some guy who got the chance to blow stuff up? Let's blow up the NCAA. Let's get this guy. Let's get Rich Clark in charge. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's go.
He's special. He's special. Again, like I said before, every once in a while you talk with somebody that you cannot match. You cannot match in terms of bravery. You cannot match in terms of smarts. You just cannot match. And that's how I felt throughout that. I tried to be smart. I tried to sound smart. But I knew I was coming up short and what a humble gentleman. Just a humble gentleman. When I asked the question about the bombing, he was kind of reticent. I could tell it was something he didn't really want to talk publicly about. Okay, we'll be back. We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30-plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Love it when it's forward, love it when it's fast, love it when the leaders call the pack is moving past. Love it when they make you lots and lots of noise. Can't wait to hear these W's say. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys! Let's go racing, boys. Love it when they're drafting, love it when they slide, love it when the back's straight.
boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Boys, come on, let me hear ya. Let's go racing, boys.
Let's go racing, boys.
That's so weak, Plummer. Of course, you're probably weak. Probably feeling faint in that 95-degree heat. But you know what, Plummer? You'd be you're going to be in such great shape. You could work on a pit crew this weekend at Indianapolis because you're used to the heat with no air conditioning in the studio. Let's welcome in Jeff Owens in the fast lane with us once again here on Sports Talk. Great to have you with us coming off the race at Dover, which had a pretty exciting finish, I would say, with had to wait for the rain to go through, then a little overtime action, and then Denny Hamlin does what Denny Hamlin does.
Yeah, and kudos to NASCAR for getting that in. I mean, they battled weather all day. They knew it was coming, and they had a little delay there, and they did a good job getting that race finished the way it did. And, it was an okay race. We had a couple of big crashes, but, yeah, I thought the end was pretty good. I mean, Denny Hamlin kind of did exactly what I thought he would do. I mean, he hung around all day long, and he got an opportunity at the end, and he pounced. And that's kind of what he does. So, I thought it was a pretty good race, and now we move on down the road, getting close to that cutoff line.
Indeed. Getting a little bit nervous time for some drivers like Bubba Wallace, who moved to the positive side of the cut line, see if he can stay there. Before we talk about Indy, what about the news that not going to go back to Chicago for the street race, but they're going to create a new one on an Air Force base in San Diego? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually like this idea a lot. I'm not a huge fan of the street races and that sort of thing. I thought Chicago was okay. I don't think it was a huge hit. I think it accomplished what NASCAR wanted, which was to introduce the sport to a new audience. And from what I understand, about 70% of the people that attended that race in Chicago were not really NASCAR fans. They were new fans. And that's sort of, the point of the whole thing. I suppose that worked. Now they're going to San Diego, and I really like this because they're going to a great city that I think will embrace them really, really well. And having this race on a military base is just perfect. I mean, it's almost – you couldn't be more NASCAR than that. I thought the hype video they put out this week with the drivers in the F-16s and the race cars on the track was just fantastic. And I expect them to do a tremendous job with this race, primarily because of the support of the military and the production of this thing. I think it'll have a really strong military feel to it. It's in a military town, and there couldn't be anything more NASCAR than that. And I expect that to be a great event.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a 3-mile course.
Yeah, that's on the long end.
How's that going to grab the attention of folks waiting for those guys to come around after a 3-mile circuit?
Yeah, you better bring your lunch because you're going to have time for a snack quite a few times, I think. I mean, that's kind of weird. That'll be one of the longer road courses that they have run. But, it's going to take them different places. So, it'll be scenic probably. We'll see. I think they still got some work to do on that, but it'll be interesting. No question about it.
All right. Indy, you give Kyle Larson any advantage because he's already run about, 500 miles or so at Indy this year from the 500. Yeah. Do you like the racing on this course on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? They were there and they left it for a while. Now they've gone back to it. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, the races on the big track there, Phil, have never been great. We had a few in the early days that had some drama at the end, but it's always been tough, to kind of hook up and really put on a good show there. But having said that, I didn't like the road course situation. Maybe it seemed like a good idea at the time because the oval track races had not been very good, and we were on a road course kick at the time, and they had the bright idea of running the road course in the infield there. It was okay, but the whole point of this weekend is that you're racing at Indy. It's the Brickyard. It's the Brickyard 400 on the most famous racetrack in the world. And whether the race is any good or not, that's what they need to be doing. It didn't mean hardly anything to win on that road course. But to win on that big track where they have the Indianapolis 500 and they've had the Brickyard 500, and to get to go out there and kiss the bricks and win on that oval track, I think is very prestigious and very special. And they need to. I'm glad they went back to that. And whether the race is any good or not this weekend, it'll be special racing on that track, and I hope they keep it that way.
Jeff Owens with us here tonight in the Fast Lane as he joins us every Friday here on Sports Talk. And Jeff, I think you and I were of the same opinion when NASCAR started the in-season challenge. Thought it was gimmicky, unnecessary. Reminds me much of the NBA tournament, midway through the season. But it wraps up this weekend, Ty Dillon versus Ty Gibbs for $1 million. In your mind, just looking at it from your perspective, did it accomplish what NASCAR was hoping it would?
Well, look at the matchup this weekend, and that's your answer. You got two guys. You got two mid-pack guys that nobody cares about in the finals. That tells you right there what a horrible idea this was. I don't think anybody had cared about this the entire time. I don't think anybody has followed it. They mentioned it on the race broadcast, tried to make a deal about it, but I don't think anybody cares. I think it's been a horrible idea. And now we go this weekend, and good for the teams, and I guess, it's good for these two teams and these two drivers who aren't normally in the mix, and they're going to get a lot of exposure this weekend. And one of them is going to win $1 million for their race team, and that's great. But for the fan, I don't think they care. I don't think it was very exciting. I think it should scrap it and never do it again.
I can't argue with that one bit. Other news from NASCAR today. I don't know that this was a big surprise, Denny Hamlin getting a contract extension with Joe Gibbs Racing, but looking at it from long term, he's another 2 seasons. Here's a guy as dominant and as good a driver as he's been. He's never won a championship, and it appears that Joe Gibbs Racing is starting to skew much younger. All right, he gets this extension, but in 2 years, Jeff, is he going to get another?
Yeah. I think that'll probably be up to Denny. I think he's transitioning into that ownership role, but that's probably what they'll do. They'll do 1-2 year contracts until Denny's ready to hang it up, and he's still a contender in winning races. So I don't think he's going to go away anytime soon.
Jeff, as always, we appreciate it, my friend, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. You're off next week. Enjoy Chicago. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, guys, have a great weekend.
Be right back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. Well, tonight we'll see the low drop to 77, and then tomorrow we are blazing hot. Look for triple digits the next 5 days. High temperatures hovering right around 100 degrees with a feels-like temperature each day approaching around 110. Stay well hydrated and have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The Point is teaming up with our friends at Americans for Prosperity, South Carolina for one big, beautiful party. Join us at Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington Friday, August the 8th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll do the afternoon drive live. And how about this? The food is on us. It's AFP and the Point's way of saying, hey, thanks for always supporting important causes, calling your elected officials, caring about local issues. Friday, August the 8th, Flight Deck. Come by and celebrate one big, beautiful party. We'll see you there.
Assortment of With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government is considering alternative options to ceasefire talks with Hamas. This follows Israel and the U.S. recalling their negotiating teams, adding uncertainty to the negotiations. On Thursday, the teams left Qatar after a U.S. envoy said Hamas showed a lack of desire to reach a truce. U.S. troops are sharing command stations and vehicles with civilian immigration authorities at the southern U.S. border under an emergency declaration from President Trump. A 2-star general leads 7,600 border troops and an assortment of helicopters and drones. He says the military has been freed from maintenance work to help apprehend immigrants, protect newly designated militarized zones, and disrupt smuggling cartels. This is SRN News.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
How does a car repair shop last in business for over 50 years like Sudeth Automotive? By providing affordable, reliable, and honest auto repair. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's their loyal customers who come back time and time again to entrust them with their car repairs, well-trained technicians, service packages, and monthly specials. Isn't it time you become a customer? Call or come by at 1410 North Millwood Avenue or make an appointment at sudethauto.com.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing our new healthy gluten-free menu. For your choices, we offer charbroiled certified Angus ribeye steak, juicy marinated grilled chicken dinner, fresh grilled salmon, authentic Greek salad, hamburger steak with grilled onions and melted cheese, shish kebab with grilled chicken, veggie blue plate with a choice of 4 vegetable selections, spring chicken salad, and of course, our famous slow-roasted pot roast. Come and enjoy a healthy gluten-free menu at Flight Deck Restaurant. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Birdies, bogeys, and biceps coming up. But first up on the tee, our recruiting report brought to you by Seawell's. Make sure you get to Seawell's next week for the daily luncheon buffet, Tuesday through Friday from 11 till 2. And give Seawell's a call for all the help you need in that special event that needs the best in the catering business. No matter what it is, let Seawell's come out and make it all the more special. 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Clemson gets the commitments today, early afternoon, and maybe late morning. 2027 cornerback Christian P.J. Chancellor Jr., 5'10", 162, from Daniel. He is the son of former Clemson defensive back Chris Chancellor, who, by the way, is a member of the Clemson Police Department. So I'm sure he'll stay in line when he's at high school as well as at Clemson. Of course, Dabo Swinney often goes to Daniel High School, signs players who are a legacy to his program. The elder Chancellor played for Clemson from 2006 through 2010. So the younger Chancellor was offered after camp, and he said the offer was great. They have great academics. They develop you. He's looking forward to learning under Mike Reed, the Clemson cornerbacks coach. Not a particularly heavily recruited player. Offers from Central Michigan, Delaware, Southern Miss, East Tennessee State, Sacramento State, Howard. But Dabo Swinney sees something in him, so does Mike Reed. They offered. and he is going to be their third commitment for the 2027 class. He was all-region at Daniel. We know that's a high level of football. 41 tackles, 5 passes broken up, 2 interceptions. He also scored 3 touchdowns. Report by Sam Spiegelman of Rivals says SMU leads a group of other teams seeking to pull cornerback Shavar Young from his Clemson commitment. Young committed to Clemson in August of 2024. Clemson was his only official visit this summer. Basketball, South Carolina target 6'2" Sanaya Hall, Montverde Academy, Florida, also a native of Lorain, Ohio. She committed to Southern Cal. 6'10" William Stevens of Charlotte, offers from South Carolina, Clemson, the College of Charleston, and others. He picked up an offer from Vanderbilt. That is tonight's recruiting report here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells.
4. Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee, wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day. But it went straight down the middle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now on the tee, representing the fine Weed Hill Country Club, 5-time Richland County amateur champion, erstwhile professional, George Bryan III. Another edition of Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps, brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports. And a special guest is standing by for you, George. Welcome.
Well, in the 30-plus years we've done this, that is the first brand new introduction. I have not been introduced that way, but I like it. I like it a lot.
We make it up. We make it up as we go along. That's what we do here.
Hey, and I can tell you, if you got no AC in there, and Josh says you're not hydrated, Bergie, you all right, man? You all right? Or is he asleep?
He's at his home location. But here's the thing, George, and we're going to let you get yours. I am sick and tired of the whining. I've been hearing the whining for almost 2 hours. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. You know, you're playing golf. It's 95 degrees. You're 12 over par. You've lost, 8 golf balls. You got to suck it up. I keep telling the plumber, just suck it up. He just won't suck it up.
Phil, if you were here, you'd be crying just the same amount. You can hear my fan in the microphone. I mean, it's miserable over here.
People listening to us don't care about how you feel. Just deliver another perfect show. That's all they want. Go ahead, George.
Hey, I tell you right now, we've got a special guest. He's on the tee. I don't want to keep him waiting, and I guarantee you he's in the air condition or somewhere cool, maybe even on the lake. He is the operator, I'll just call him the leader of Persimmon Hill Golf Club, which is just in the wonderful town of Saluda, one of my favorite courses in the world, and it's where my first 2 playing mentors, Larry Boswell and Keith Wright, that's where they actually had history. Larry Boswell was taught by Tony Smith how to play golf, and then it flipped around. And anyway, Wally Yance is a legend. He's, like I said, operational leader at Persimmon Hill. We're going to get him on the tee. Let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Yance to the tee. You're on Birdies and Bogeys. How you doing, Wally?
Doing great. This is an honor to be with you guys. So I'm fresh at this, so throw it at me, brother.
Hey, well, I figure we'll jump right in. I visited through the FCJGA, the Tri-County chapter, and you were so gracious in hosting juniors from part of Lexington, Saluda, and also Newberry counties, Wally. And Persimmon Hill is still to this day one of my favorites. And it starts, for me, I drive out of Chapin, and no matter how you turn it, you got to go through some countryside to get to Persimmon Hill. I've always treasured the drive to any golf course, but Persimmon Hill special. Once you get there, once you get to Persimmon Hill, always wonderful people. You got the most fun starting hole, par 5, and I think the second most fun finishing hole, and maybe in the whole state. Talk to us a little bit about Persimmon Hill, Wally. You've done wonderful work. It's beautiful from the highway. Take us for a ride.
Well, thank you. Well, let me say this. Our name is Persimmon Hill Country Club, but basically we're not really a country club per se. We don't have a lot of social activities. We're just good old boys out here. We're just a club in the country.
I love it.
And it turns out we're 45 to 60 minutes from everywhere, like a radius. Just imagine the radius of Gilbert, Lexington, Columbia, and just sweep around to Greenwood, Newberry, North Augusta, Aiken. And like you said, you can drive here. By the time you get in the car and get your guys going, you can drive here, get started, and be home probably in the same amount of time you go play at your course with 400 members. And well, we don't necessarily we don't have 500 members. So there's plenty of room for you. So I encourage everybody, if you hadn't been here in a while, come take a look at us. Thank you.
Well, I tell you, I didn't quite pick up everything you said there. Sometimes this technology is beautiful. Sometimes it makes us wait. And one of the things that I've always enjoyed about golf is the ride, the fellowship and community, and the ride to and the ride back. There's conversation and anticipation on the way. And then on the way back, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the results. And here's how it goes. Wally, we talk a little bit about the fun things associated with the game. We talk about we're going to start tonight with some results that took place at your golf club. And so this is the SCJGA Tri-County chapter. Right after we talk about this, Phil usually will kick off some of the tour results, and then we'll roll right into another conversation wherever it takes us. But in the boys' 7 to 9-year-old, Jack Walker Anders, well, he won it. He placed first. And Henry Hawk was second. In the boys' 10 to 12, Bryce Hook was first, while Stellan Kella was second. Boys 13 and 14, congratulations to Ian Clark and Cooper Rayleigh. They finished first and second. And the boys 15 to 18, Trust Winners, finished first, while Noah Moeller was second. The girls 10 to 12, Grayson Givens of Salina Golf Club, I might add, finished first. And then Madden Grace Butler finished second. Girls 13 to 18, Addison Langdale was first, while Gib Marcialo finished second. So the SCJGA has what we call the Hootie and the Blowfish Summer Series going, chapters all over the state. They're getting ready to finalize and then feed into All-Stars. We'll talk more about that. And Phil usually talks a little bit about the tour event. We got a man from Greenwood, which is just around the corner, trying to birdie the last hole to make the cut, while Carson, we have another Clemson guy that is well within, and I am Carson Young, that is. Hey, Phil's going to tell us what radio station that you can pick up if you're at or around Saluda. He had it with me, left it on a voicemail. Phil, as you get into some of the results, and let's talk about the tour, how can we keep up with, in the area of Saluda, how they're going to listen to birdies and bogeys?
All right. Well, let me tell you what's going on the PGA. You mentioned it. You got Thorbjorn Olesen, a 66 after a 62, 14 under. Of course, they're playing this as the old Tri-Cities, I think. This is the 3M Open. What's that up in, like in Minnesota, up in the Twin Cities areas, I believe? Yes?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Jake Knapp, 64-65. He's 13 under. And Pearson Cootie. Is he related to the Cootie that was a really good golfer way back when? He's 12 under.
That's a grandchild, absolutely. Mr. Charles Cootie.
How about
Absolutely.
that? 65-65. And then Sam Stevens, 62-68. He's at 12 under. I mean, he had some really good scores yesterday and some more good ones today. Had a 60 yesterday. Kevin Kisner, he was in the booth at the Open last week. He's going to make the cut and play the weekend this week. 67-69. It's good enough for 6 under. Carson Young is 5 under after a 72 and a 65. Jacob Bridgman and Ben Martin, another couple of Tigers, they're playing the last. They're playing number 9, which is their 18th. They're both 4 under, and I think you alluded to the cut is going to fall right now is projected at 5 under. So they need birdies, George. How tense is that? You're these guys, and, you know, every dollar you can make on the tour is huge, and you've got to birdie the last to make the cut.
Well, I can promise you that Ben especially, he loves it. He loves the challenge. Everybody out there just plays for that feeling of excitement, and that does get them excited because they do not like the weekends off. We talk about that all the time. I can tell you, they got it in everything from freewheeling to grind mode. I can promise you that. And it's pretty cool to see kids making the cut. And number 9's a par 4. Kids birdied the number 9, so it's definitely birdieable. I wish they were playing 18. I'm trying to look at you got the shot tracker, all these fancy things going on, and I'm trying to watch. I love Ben Martin and his family, wonderful folks. We need to get Ben on shot 2. He's got 33 feet for birdie. We'll be pulling for that one to hit the bottom of the cup. And I'll tell you, it was going to shift gears and get ready, Wally, because on the way I was getting ready to go, and, man, I had a wonderful lunch. So you have a grill. You can enjoy golf, but you also have a grill and talk about that good food. And then, Wally, you're a peach farmer. You loaded me up with some peaches that absolutely are amazing.
Well, great. What did you make, a daiquiri, a slushy, or just eat them on your Cheerios?
I like to get tea. Hey, you know what? You got the ladder and just straight on, man. I tell you what, in this time of year, it's a wonderful form of hydration. My wife also loves them. And we'll be back. I don't know how long they're in season, but I'll tell you right now, there's something to talk about. No question. Talk to us a little bit more about that wonderful grill that you have there at Persimmon Hill.
Well, listen, like I say, we are nothing special. We don't want to toot our horn that we're any better than anybody else, but you got a good charbroiler and it gets seasoned. The good cooks and people realize it gets seasoned with use, and you got a good quality patty. And just like everybody else's, but we're proud of what we got. We like to say we don't have the big memberships, but we're unique with our layout. What most people remember about Persimmon Hill is it's a Russell Breeden design, and I just pulled him up and looked. He did about 30-plus courses from South Carolina to Maryland, between 62 basically and 86. And this was one of his first ones. This is one of his first ones that he designed in 62. Thank you.
I'll tell you what, when you start off number 1, wonderful dogleg, right, if you hit 2 quality shots, you can get close, if not on in 2, and then you finish on a par 5 that's a lot of fun. And I don't think there's anything more important than the start and the finishing hole. And it's what I call traditional style, which it's a little old school. We got a number of clubs around this town. Columbia Country Club, Forest Lake. They're what we call traditional styles. And Hey, Wally, we've got standing by. I'm having some internet problems, but I do see Phil. He has not. He's got some South Carolina amateur results for us. Tee us up with it. Oh, I just tabled up. All right.
They're 2
I'm
rounds
ready.
into it. And by the way, let me mention for Wally and others up your way, Wally, you can find Sports Talk every night from 6 to 8. We are on in your area, WKDK out of Newberry. The FM is 101.7. The AM is 1240. Also our Greenwood station, very strong. We'll cover that area, 104.9 FM. Couple of ways you can find us there in your neck of the woods. As far as the 94th annual SCGA Amateur Championship, which I have failed to qualify for the 60th consecutive year, Chase Klein of Chapin, he's 12 under, 64-68. They're playing this at the Country Club, the Carolina Country Club up in Spartanburg for the first time. Sam Jackson is 11 under, 69-64. Then in third is Jack Weiler, Weiler, W-I-E-L-E-R from Bluffton. He's 8 under, 66-70. And then tied for fourth, Will Ruth, 6 under, after a 66-72. Charles Cawthon, a 6 under, after a 70 and a 68. Now at in sixth place at 5 under, we got several people. Brent Delahousse, Weston Bell, Todd White, there he is again, Carter Davis, David Lott, Michael Sims, and Brad Thorne. They are all tied for sixth, and they are at 5 under par.
There's another Salina Golf Club member, Michael Sims, formerly Clemson Tiger, got him a national championship ring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty cool. I watched Jason Klein grow up right here in Chapin. He's now he's on the way at Western Carolina. And I got to tell you, Sam Jackson, watched him grow up from Pillion. He and the Provos just absolutely lit it up around the big city of Pillion and the Ponderosa Country Club. And so it'll be fun to see. They've kind of taken off at 12 and 11 under. The
cut came in, George. The cut came in at +4. So it looks like how many made the cut? 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 59. About 61 made the cut. 61 made the cut at +4.
Hey, I noticed our coach, all former Gamecock and all high school, Robert Dargan, he made the cut. And
yes.
It's pretty cool to take a look at the leaderboard, and I wish I could be there. Robert Andrews, are you kidding me? It cannot be the Robert Andrews. Anyway, I'm scrolling the leaderboard myself, and I tell you what,
Let me ask you about this gentleman. Nick Beershank from Duncan, +2. He's tied for 39. Is that one of the famous Beershank golfing families?
Absolutely, and he's one of the young ones, although I'm guessing he's not so young anymore. None of us are, but Tommy Beershank, Tommy Beershank, and I played the final round of the 1982 State Amateur with his, I'm guessing that's his granddaddy, Tommy Beershank. And then there was another Beershank, played the tour. The Beershanks are legendary in South Carolina.
Which is the Beershank that could hit it like a country mile?
I think about anybody with the last name of Beershank can do that. All of them. And I tell you what, they are. We watched one of them on the tour for quite a while. And anyway, it's a lot of fun. And let's go back to it with Wally. You still with us, Wally?
Yes. Can you read me pretty clear?
I can now.
Let me get off speakerphone now. Can you hear me?
I got you, Wally. And I when folks out there listening, I had a conversation today, a short one with Brad Kavar, and it was short. Didn't have a whole long time, but we're reminiscing about the good old days. And talk to us if you want to come play golf at Persimmon Hill. And we only have like a minute left. Talk to us about how to go about that. Give us a phone number, give us some rates, and take it away, Wally.
Absolutely. Our number is 803-275-3522 to the pro shop, and I'm almost embarrassed to mention our rates. But Monday and Tuesday is $30 cart and green fee.
Woo.
And let me tell you what, we're in decent shape. We've still got the old Tiff Green 328 original grass. I'm proud of it. And it's still the original grass, but $30 Monday and Tuesday, $35 on Wednesday and Thursday, $40 on Friday, and $45 Saturday and Sunday. So you can drive down and come out still cheaper than you would to some of these, $80 golf courses. So
well,
we got room.
I can tell you too. Yep, I can tell you it's worth the drive. It's trimmed up nicely, and like I said, the first and the last hole, it keeps you having fun. Get you a foursome. Go call them up. Can you catch you all online? Can you go to a website and sign up for a tee time, or do you need to call?
Got to call in. We're old school. Got to call in. Just call in the pro shop, and we'll accommodate you. Thank you.
Hey, we're gonna be talking more about you next week too, because we got to get Chase Butler to talk about the All-Star results. Wally, it's a privilege having you on. Enjoyed it yesterday. Until next time, thank you for being on Birdies and Bogeys. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. It's been my pleasure.
All right. So, hey, Phil, I know my music's getting ready to come, and I'm going to go ahead and I want to thank Tsunami Bar Sports for being the sponsor. We got some new announcements coming up for the fall. Sea Mountain Turf is artificial grass for a backyard green, or if you got a simulator, you want to go ahead and outfit one of the frog or the extra bedroom. TsunamiBarSports.com is where you can find out about the best golf, fitness, technology out there invented in the Clemson Rate Room, but it'll be the best for golfers that it's ever known. And I hear that music. There we go. Till next week, Phil, I enjoyed it. I hope y'all get cool and hydrated. See 'em high, but shoot 'em low.
Thank you, George. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you Monday.